is here in Hopkins, we have issues with the cemetery. How could you sell a part of the cemetery? We still have the pending situation with the Midway and Barranco situation, where Midway is trying to encroach on Barranco lands. Just because the lands are there and not currently being used, they feel like it's their responsibility to take the lands because we're not using them, because they want to expand for their future, even though those lands may be privately owned by Baranganas. So that is one of the issues that we're currently facing, and we have issues that our communities are not demarcated. What will happen in the future? Imagine the Creole and the Garifuna decide, we are entitled to lands. How would we know where our traditional borders is? How will we know where the national lands are? How would we know our boundaries for our communities? So this is something very important that I would urge the government to start taking a lead on. We do have Golisa Primary School, but we're also advocating that within our 6 traditional Garifuna communities, that the primary school could adopt the intercultural policy within our communities to help us preserve our Garifuna language.
Minister Dolores Balderramos Garcia says that government stands ready to assist where it can to resolve the concerns of the Garinagu.
We need strong advocacy from the Garifuna leaders and the communities. So write to us, put something in writing. If you have a specific complaint about encroachment or whatever, let us know. And we will ask the Ministry of Natural Resources and the Lands Department to deal with it. No, I'm not saying that we will be able to solve all the issues tomorrow, but I am saying that if we sit down and we get everybody and the key players together, we would be able to resolve the issues of boundary delimitation.
So we just want the government to work with us in good faith for us to table all our issues and come to peaceful solutions that can help both parties. We don't want to be another organization, another culture who takes the government to court. We want to see if we can get our issues tabled in a peaceful and hopeful and faithful way with the government.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The delimitation of boundaries has been a challenge for the government of Belize. There have been villages reporting of encroachment, as well as the sale of land without notice. There are also competing interests as it relates to villages wanting to expand, but being unable to do so. Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Dolores Balderramos Garcia, says that it is a process which is being looked at carefully, specifically as it relates to Maya communal land tenure in the South.
The issue of delimitation of boundaries should not be that difficult once we can sit down and compromise and respect one another's rights. But there is some hurt being experienced in relation to the 41 Maya villages of the Toledo district. We will have to be looking carefully at the auto-delimitation and what they call the delimitation principles and methodology. It is important for us to recognize that the rights can be balanced and that when we put in place the administrative and legal framework, we will be able to balance often competing interests, but at the same time, if we do a proper harmonization, then we will be able to live together. You call it a modus vivendi.
The issue of boundary delineation came up as recently as last Thursday when the Maya village of Laguna held a press conference in the South over the issue of land. As we reported, Laguna and Yemery Grove have been bucking heads over the Maya's traditional land distribution system. But is there encroachment taking place? In an exclusive interview with Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Dolores Balderramos Garcia, News 5 asked for a reaction to what's happening in the South.
Through the court ruling, the government of Belize recognized customary land tenure of the Maya people. Now, that doesn't mean a sort of a full, extensive ownership to the total exclusion of everybody else. It is now a matter of our government being able to balance competing interests and private land with the communal land tenure of the Maya people. So I wouldn't want us to go too far to say that they want to claim everything. I don't think that is true. I think what what the Maya people quite rightly are asserting is that customary land tenure and the communal right to land. As Belizeans, let us respect one another. Respect has to be a two-way street. So let us respect one another, regardless of where we are, regardless of what ethnicity we are, regardless of what part of the country we come from. That respect. And then, of course, unity. We must have one Belize. You know what George Price and his people back then, the fathers of our country and mothers of our country, what they fought for was a Belize.
After the break, EU ambassadors support OAS mission at Belize, Guatemala adjacency zone. But first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Brian and Marta walked as fast as they could without saying anything to each other, but they both knew what the other was thinking and the concern they both felt. They walked back to school for almost 20 minutes without stopping. When they finally arrived, they met Teacher Lewis, who was already packing his things to go home.
Teacher, please, don't leave yet. We need to talk to you.
The teacher was surprised when he noticed his two students, agitated and sweaty, running to talk to him.
Marta, Brian, is everything okay? Why have you come like this? What happened to you?
Teacher, we really need to talk to you. Please explain what we can do to prevent climate change from continuing.
Teacher Lewis stared at both of them and understood what was happening. A look of resignation spread across his face.
We can't do so much here to avoid it, kids. This is something we just cannot stop.
How is it possible? Teacher, we just talked to a lot of people and they all have problems because of the weather. Please tell us what climate change is and why it cannot be stopped.
Professor Lewis smiled and asked both of them to sit on the steps at the entrance of the school.
Look, I'm going to try to explain what I know about climate change. It is a cyclical process. That is, it has been developing since the origin of the planet, but in this last century, we have accelerated the process due to things such as having so much construction in cities and urban settlements without leaving any forest, and the excess of traditional transport, especially during rush hours. There are countries that pollute much more, but in the end, it affects us. For example, all what I've just told you and other causes such as sowing, removing the whole forest without leaving any trees, all this causes the entire planet to warm up and affects some areas such as the coast where we live. Is it all clear to you now?
Yes, teacher.
Well then, the changes that were supposed to be felt little by little during 1,000 years, we are feeling them all at once in the last few years. Can you imagine? There are still some things that can be done to prevent climate change from getting worse. For example, here we can do some things like avoid cutting down all the forest and mangroves, but what we have to do is to adapt, because we do need some development to sustain the economy.
Martha and Brian were open-mouthed, not quite understanding how climate change was something so serious and wondering why they were just getting to know about it now and knowing that it could not be stopped. They felt worried and anxious about not knowing what they could do to adapt themselves and their families to something of this magnitude, but they were about to discover how to adapt.
From generation to generation, Bristol Water is there every step of the way. Taste you can trust.
You have been a safe driver all your life when an unavoidable accident happens. But this does not mean that your insurance premium must increase. With RF&G's Accident Forgiveness Program, safe drivers will not lose their no-claims discounts because of those minor, unavoidable accidents. For more information on RF&G's Accident Forgiveness Program, contact us at 223-5734. When it comes to motor insurance, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a road group company.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
On Sunday in Corozal District, hundreds of cane farmers from across northern Belize gathered on the campus of Escuela Secundaria Técnica Mexico for a special meeting. The meeting was convened by the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association to discuss the issue of fair trade premiums. The BSCFA claims that almost $5 million in payments are being held back from the association and blames the withholding of those monies squarely on the miller. News 5's Isani Cayetano headed north yesterday and has the following story.
The membership of the largest growers organization in the north converged en masse on Sunday in Corozal. The Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association met to discuss an existing situation involving the payment of fair trade premiums to over 3,000 cañeros. Fair Trade International works with farmers and laborers of more than 300 commodities, including sugar, to ensure that they earn a living income. For a second year, payments are being withheld from the BSCFA.
We are the ones that haven't received last year and haven't received anything this year. We are not happy with it because as an organization, as the BSCFA, we comply with what is needed for us to get our benefit on the fair trade premium. We are certified and we have an agreement with BSI which we have signed that comes to an end. Well, this year it comes to an end in November. Last year it came to an end in the end of July. So we have compliance in both. And it's a pity that it was used as a weapon against us for not getting our premium.
Alfredo Ortega is chairman of the Committee of Management. During yesterday's meeting, he explained the issue that sugarcane farmers are facing with ASR-BSI. According to Ortega, BSCFA's position on an entirely separate matter is being used by the miller to pressure the association.
Because of the negotiation we had with BSI, they used that as a tool to really damage the BSCFA, not granting us that premium.
It is a sentiment that is being echoed by Javier Keme, BSCFA's chief financial officer.
In our view, the BSCFA has seen that it has been used as a mechanism or a tool to put pressure on BSCFA to accept the conditions that are being put forward in the negotiation for a commercial agreement with the mill. In the position of the buyer, which is Titan Lyle, they have said that it is two separate things. Yeah. The fair trade issue, the fair trade sales are different from the negotiations of the commercial agreement. But in the ground, we are feeling that it is not. it is being used to put pressure.
The government of Belize recently enacted a piece of legislation that is on the books. For many years, the regulation remained dormant until the Ministry of Agriculture decided to intervene in the matter.
Now, when we look to this new regulation, this regulation is work in combination with fair trade standards, on which the standard clearly brings out that in the system we work here in Belize versus other countries, we have 4 associations which are delivering cane to only BSI 1 mill. So clearly it puts BSI as the conveyor, where BSI should be the one paying the farmers their premium. Because as you know, here in Belize, it's BSI that has the full authority in marketing sugar and all the derivatives from our sugar cane.
The regulation alone, says Keme, is not the cure for the ongoing problem. The BSCFA is calling for complete transparency where the sale of sugar is concerned.
The regulation itself cannot solve all the disclosure needed in the industry. I need to clarify this, Isani, because it is being understood as the regulation is requiring BSI to disclose their cost,
to open
their books, and that is not so. What they need to disclose under this regulation is the volume of sugar being exported, to whom they export it, the price they are being paid for it.
Similar requests, according to CEO Oscar Alonso, can be found elsewhere, including documents published by the United Nations.
What we have been asking for is embedded in various international documents. The United Nations Commission on Transnational Companies, for example, right? Okay, has the very same thing that we are trying to get, and we have gotten through the regulations, which is transparency, predictability, the matter of fair competition, non-discrimination. All these things we have been suffering at the hands of ASI, Tate and Lyle. They have been deliberately discriminating against our association because we refused to sign a contract with their sister company and of their liking, rather than trying to let us meet heads and solve the problem of the industry, right?
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
On Friday, a high-level delegation from the European Union traveled to the adjacency zone between Belize and Guatemala. Led by Marianne Van Steen, the EU ambassador to Belize, the delegation was made up of 6 ambassadors representing EU member states, including Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Spain. The primary objective of their visit was to observe the impact of EU-funded activities in the region and to announce a fresh wave of support from the Union. We asked the EU ambassador to Belize about the tour when we caught up with her on Saturday in Belize City.
Extremely happy with what the OAS mission is doing. You will probably know, but the European Union was founded just after we had 2 world wars which started on our continent. So when we started the integration between the European Union countries, the only thing we really were looking for was peace. And so our project is actually a peace project. And as I said as well, with climate change, with everything that we do not only want to work on our continent, we want to work with other countries, other partners all over the world. So when we learned that there is not a war between 2 countries, but there is no border between 2 countries, and we learned that there is the will of the people to go to an international court to decide what that border is going to be, we were very impressed, and we said we should help and we should support that. So we are now trying to support the mission of the OAS that is doing lots of efforts to prevent conflicts and to build confidence between people from both Guatemala and Belize.
Apart from the visit to the adjacency zone, the EU ambassadors were preparing for a special political dialogue with Belize's Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Prime Minister, scheduled for today. These special diplomatic dialogues are usually held in September during Belize's independence celebrations. We spoke with a couple of the EU ambassadors about their expectations for the meeting.
But once a year we have a special political dialogue with the country, and we always do that around diplomatic days when we have ambassadors from all over the world here. And we said maybe, we really would like to have more time, and it would be more EU if we can do the political dialogue at another moment. So then we spoke with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and we agreed that it would be a good idea to find another moment. And which moment is better than the month of May? The month of May is really important for Europe because that is when it all started, our European integration project on the 9th of May. So normally that is a month that we celebrate Europe.
There is not a special agenda. EU and Italy are very close to Belize. We are very close to Belize because we are very close to Central America, to the Caribbean. There are big problems here like climate change, so we are willing to help as much as we can. We have a great cooperation in the United Nations framework. And very happy of the results that this government is reaching. I think there is more and more interest both in Rome and Brussels in cooperating and investing in cooperation with Belize.
The European Union has been partnering with Belize in various sectors for the past 30 years, from health to renewable energy, the environment, public transportation, and gender-based violence, to name a few. But with a 28-hour estimated flight time from Belize to Europe, many Belizeans may never get an opportunity to visit an EU member state. So on Saturday, the EU in Belize brought that experience through its EU in the Park event inside the DigiPark. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
On Saturday, the European Union in Belize hosted a Europe Festival at the DigiPark in Belize City. On display were a number of country booths from EU member states, as well as booths displaying key areas of partnership between the EU and Belize. The transport sector is one area where the EU and Belize have been collaborating to introduce electric vehicles to Belize. This is BYD Auto Company Limited's luxury electric vehicle called the Tang.
This is a 100% electric vehicle. This is not a hybrid. It doesn't use any type of fuel in terms of gas or diesel or kerosene or anything like that. This is 100%. You plug it into the wall, you plug it into an outlet, and from that you get energy, and that powers, that electricity goes into the batteries, and that battery powers the entire vehicle. The battery is a roughly 86 kilowatt hour battery, which means that to charge it, you would have to take 86 kilowatts of energy from your home. At roughly 47 cents per kilowatt hour in Belize, you're looking at $41 to go from 0 to 100%. 0 to 100%, right now we're at 96% if you look at the dash. It shows the battery, 96%. It shows that everything is okay. No, it's not touch screen, but it's LCD. And it says that we have 285 miles of range.
With the capacity to go from 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, adaptive cruise control, automatic emergency braking, and a pedestrian collision warning system, the Tang was one of the highlights of Saturday's EU event. Members of the EU e-mobility projects team were on hand to inform visitors. Of the 27 EU member states, 3 had booths at the event, including Germany.
So we're representing Germany here at the booth, and our idea was to do a plastic recycling workshop, because basically the European Union and Germany as well, they are really focusing on climate action, separating trash, recycling. So that's what we wanted to bring to Belize today. We're having the workshop where you can shred plastic bottle caps and then mold them in an extruder, and we have different molds, for example carabiner and also keychains in the forms of a turtle and something else, I think a dolphin.
Over at the EU and U booth, face painting and art classes were organized for the children. Information booths on EU scholarships and the various partnerships between EU and Belize were also established.
Today's event is it's a family-friendly festival. And what we're trying to showcase today is the partnership and friendship between the European Union and Belize. The EU has been working in Belize for over 30 years, supporting in different areas from conservation to health to energy and access to renewable energy, to protecting against deforestation, protecting biodiversity, human rights, and many different areas. So what we're trying to do today is kind of put the spotlight on the partnership with Belize.
In line with Belize and the EU's effort to promote energy efficiency, the Ministry of Energy and EU Ambassador Marianne Van Steen launched the Lights On initiative at the event. The program will see the ministry distribute LED bulbs to households across the country.
What we're doing is we're officially launching our LED bulb exchange program, where we'll be distributing a total of approximately 9,000 LED bulbs throughout the country. We want to replace incandescent bulbs, which are basically, or CFL, or compact fluorescent bulbs, which are considered inefficient bulbs, for new efficient LED bulbs. What we're doing today is we're doing a little bit of an outreach program, a little bit of knowledge sharing, where we are giving away 500 bulbs to customers or to the general public that comes and visits our booth.
Some people may have seen, the blue flag with the yellow stars, but they may not really know what that flag means. So it is the European Union who is behind all of these little plates. And we thought that, we maybe had to tell the Belizean people a little bit what is the European Union, what do we stand for, what do we think is important. So we came up with this idea to do an event with children, with families, to get as many people as possible here in this lovely park in Belize City. But Germany was really interesting because it really shows how committed we are with the fight against climate change. We do know that a country like Belize, many countries in the Caribbean are very vulnerable for natural disasters, and we all know that this comes because many other countries in the world, including countries in the European Union, have probably emitted too many greenhouse gases.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
When we return, saving Goff's Key by planting mangroves.
Welcome to Design Depot. All in one place. Shop brands you know and trust, like Kohler. Welcome, GE Appliances.
Welcome,
Oran Windows.
Welcome,
Tiles from around the world.
Welcome,
Sherwin-Williams Paint and Coating. Visit us today at Mile 3 on the Philip Golson Highway or call us at 223-3768. Design Depot. All in one place.
I think that 27 drop tonight, huh? But you think so? Tonight I think that 24.
Now Belize, you have rice and beans, chips and dip, Bolido and Son de la Tre. Bolido, that is part of our national identity. And as much as most of we may enjoy it here and there, the bottom line is, one company had 100% ownership of it. And nothing wrong with owning a business, you know. But when it comes to we Bolido, you can't own that and be transparent. You can't report on winnings and sales when you feel like. You can't audit the machine when you feel like. And you definitely can't hide the records under your mattress. But no, that Bolido and Son de la Tre will be for we again. We will be able to enjoy the excitement and profits of it. And that's a double win for us.
appreciating the reality of aging hospital infrastructure countrywide, while bearing in mind the increasing risk of hurricanes and floods, this UP administration has ramped up efforts to secure capital for new hospital infrastructure to be established in strategic locations. Earlier this year, we were most pleased to secure a $32 million grant from our partner, the Republic of China, Taiwan, to build a new hospital in San Pedro to serve Ambergski and Kikaka. $32 million. Again, the UDP, they claim they put it into their budget for about 3 years, boasting that they will build the San Pedro Hospital. It was never built. It is going to be built by the People's United Party government.
Do you know how to choose the best engine oil for your car? We believe the best engine oil should provide optimal performance and ultimate protection for longer. For Quartz engine oil, our engineers have formulated age resistance technology, also known as ART. It's a breakthrough innovation. The interaction between oil molecules is increased, creating a super resistant molecular structure. So whatever the conditions, it helps to prevent the lubricant protective film from breaking. Any engine is exposed to harsh conditions: extreme temperature and pressure, friction, sludge accumulation. The molecular structure of Quartz with ART stays strong to perfectly lubricate and protect engine parts in all conditions. And the results are outstanding. Protection against sludge buildup improved by 18%. Protection against mechanical wear improved by 74%. Thanks to Quartz with ART, save on maintenance and preserve your engine's power. So next time you wonder which engine oil to use, choose performance and protection that lasts longer. Quartz with age resistance technology. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Investment Services Explained. In September 1999, SSB's Mortgage and Investment Unit was created. The unit later became the Investment Department in 2005 and officially Investment Services in October 2007. So, what is the Investment Services role? How does Investment Services help to support Social Security and you? And why is Investment Services important to Belize? Investment Services' function is to make prudent investments in the form of commercial loans, shares, and real estate development. The interest income generated from these investments ensures the fund is sustainable to pay current and future Social Security benefits to its insured persons. The investment income is used to support the working population and pay pensions such as retirement and invalidity. Additionally, investment loans support economic development through commercial loans to startup and existing businesses while aiding in increased production of goods and services. We can expect Investment Services to continuously impact the lives of every insured person through Social Security pensions. Investment Services will continue to support the Belizean economy through secure investments in various industries. And that is why Investment Services exists. Social Security Board, an investment for you, your family, your future.
On Saturday, a government agency and a private company teamed up to salvage the eroded parts of Goffs Key by planting mangrove on the back of the island. Bowen & Bowen dispatched 50 of its employees to the island to take on the project. The Coastal Zone Management Authority and Institute, which manages Goffs Key, provided the technical support to the staff on how to effectively plant the mangroves, and we were there to capture it. News 5's Marian Ali reports.
On Saturday, 50 Bowen & Bowen employees boarded a vessel and headed to Goffs Key. Their purpose? To plant mangroves at the back of the island, which has suffered significant erosion over the years. It's the second mangrove planting project that Bowen & Bowen has spearheaded. The company's Corporate Relations Manager, Rosanna Villanueva, explained how this project came about.
When Coastal Zone mentioned that they were having issues out at Gulf Ski with erosion, and they wanted to do to plant some mangroves here to protect the island, we volunteered for this project. We planted 300 again today. This time it was a little bit different because at Wesley we were planting them in sand, and so we were in waist deep water. Out here today, as you saw, we have to anchor them into the rocks. We just wanted to do something to help and to make sure that Gulf Ski is here for future generations to enjoy.
Kent Garbott, who is an assistant lab technician at the CZMIA, walked the mangrove planters through the process.
We're using the method called the Riley encasement method. I'm going to say of some sort because I have altered it to suit this area. So the Riley encasement method is basically having something to enclose the mangroves in, a pipe, a bamboo, something of that nature. Right. So basically it's just cutting the pipe or the bamboo in the middle, facing it to the land, because we want the water to go in, but we don't want a lot of water to go in.
Okay.
So we don't want it to wash out the sand, and the propagules don't have some sand to catch on. The bamboos right now have probably about 3 to 4 inches of sand in it, and then we place the propagules in it.
The mangrove shoots were planted at the rear of the island, where it has suffered the most erosion over time because of the wave action that come ashore with the tides. Over the last 14 years that he has been its caretaker, Jason Ferguson has seen the island shrink. He has a set of rules for whoever visits Gulf Ski. Leaving garbage behind is a no-no, and swimming is only allowed at the front of the island.
The key set directly upon the barrier reef, so we try to give everybody a briefing who come out here to make them understand and know how the island run and everything. The island shrink one lot over the years, worse over the last hurricane we just passed through, washed me a lot of the island. So what we have to do, we have to try to save the island to make Gulf Ski a little more longer.
The roots of the mangroves play a significant part in holding the land together. People along the coastline, they like to plant the coconut trees. Coconut trees actually helps erode your land faster. So you try to plant the mangroves, they really help in holding your land together.
With a little blessing from Mother Nature and some luck that no hurricane strikes, the mangroves will be fully mature within 5 years. Rosanna Villanueva says that Bowen & Bowen sees the importance of engaging in projects such as these, not because these activities enhance the company's image, but because what happens to our country affects everyone.
We all live in these communities in which we do these projects, so it's important for us to be involved as well.
It's an initiative that Villanueva says they hope more corporate citizens and individuals take more leadership roles in.
It's the same message we give our employees, it's just get involved. Even if it might be a bigger project like this, it might be something smaller in your community, but it's important for us to get involved and do what we can. I mean, everybody loves Gulf Ski. It's one of the few islands that is open to the public where, any Belizeans can come and enjoy, the gorgeous sea and the scenery.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
The return to Monkey River Village was vividly different. You'd even say transformational, as a great portion of beach has been reclaimed. Monkey River was once a thriving town with a population of almost 4,000 residents. But today, the northernmost village in Toledo District is home to 52 families, or just about 250 persons. Over the past 6 months, a community initiative is saving the village from the realities of climate change, reclaiming the beach that has been lost. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Well, it's climate change, and eventually the sea will go all the way to the back, so that we'll have to move.
Relocation is the harsh reality of some coastal communities that continue to be threatened by erosion. In the village of Monkey River, erosion as a result of climate change, among other agricultural activities, has been taking in homes and threatening the village's existence.
Monkey River is not just our home, but it's a way of life. This is life for us. So it was like all hope lost. We were so sick and tired of someone coming in for an interview, want to know what's going on, and every time it's an interview and nothing done.
The real fears that the village would have been wiped off the map of Belize triggered a reaction and the need for intervention. Back in early 2022, News 5 captured the shocking reality on film. The remains of structures, including septic tanks, completely submerged and a part of the cemetery in the sea. 7 months ago, on October 21st, 2022, I would have been standing in 2 to 3 feet of water here in Monkey River Village. Fast track to May 21st, 2023, and now I'm standing on several feet of beach. It is a climate resilient initiative that was led by Ewart Garbutt and a group of community members.
Just before COVID, I said 2019, my aunt left a beautiful property for me on the point at Punta Negra, 1 acre property. Was washed in away so fast on her grape tree that she loved for life. I travel with purpose, and it be amazed some of these intelligent people travel and see what is happening, and they're talking so much about what is not happening, a reaction to climate change. So that's what driven me to this point, coming from Punta Negra, and see that for me, I survive personally. I had to be a part of nature. Instead of relocate people, we have relocate boulders. We relocate rock that have no brain, so they don't really feel out of place. They're right in place where Brandon belong. And you're telling me the good mechanic, Mr. Skite and Miss Nella, should have just washed away. Moreover, we start with this still, well, my wife and I know, but we actually saved 2 more buildings. Because this was the project that was start the whole beginning, save these 2 houses. We saved the clinic up front and also Mr. Zus to the south.
Among the residents in that immediate area is 72-year-old Nelda Garbutt, who has been living in Monkey River for most of her life. For the past 20 years, she has been living in this house along the beach. She's lost her vision over the years and was at the brink of losing her home as well. The lower flat became unlivable when water began entering. Then, during Hurricane Lisa in October 2022, the home adjacent to hers collapsed into the water.
As soon as we get rough and the sea breeze blow, the water coming all downstairs. Because we used to have a piece of rug downstairs where we used to have the table, because we used to cook for the people from Maine that come and do things in the village all the time. Sandbag. Then my son used to send money for me, so we used to pay 3 Spanish men to put sand and cement in the bag and put it out in the front.
But that still never stopped the water from coming?
No, it still never stopped. You know, when you hear that rough sea, in the night and the morning, you know, oh, some of the sun gone.
It's a frightening reality that was also experienced by 65-year-old Enid Coleman and her family. The sea was literally at their steps. Despite using sandbags, the land beneath the house was being washed away.
Well, I get frightened. I get frightened, and after the hurricane, after the last hurricane, we get so frightened. So I say, I don't know what we're going to do.
We had an extra lot that was further out from here, and then above that, or in front of it, had a beach. But you can see it airly continuously going, you know, coming backward.
The conversation on climate change at the national and international level continues as countries adversely affected are witnessing the changes firsthand. Ewart Garbutt, a commercial fisherman turned tour guide, maintains that there are interventions that can be implemented at the community level.
If there's a poison tree, they have something to fix it. If the erosion, the damage, they have the thing to fix it right there. We use the coconut. We have done this in Silky, and it works. This works. I've done 3 years plus at my aunt property, and man, I'm reclaiming land like it's amazing. And this is blood, sweat, hard work money that is put in here, hard work people. The farthest the machine reaches on the north side of the river, right? From there, it's human power, not machine anymore. Man, woman, and picnic had some of the best time ever moving. Right here at this point you're looking at, we're right over 15 load, a truck load of rock. That's what we have here. And every single one of these rocks, we weren't around when they built the Mayan temple. This is the closest example here. every single boulders have a fingerprint. It's not machine that bring it here. We boat it over, and that's what we reclaim easy and slowly and steady and amazing. God help those who help themselves. Where you're standing, we didn't bring any sand. God did the rest through nature.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Secretary General of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, Dr. Carla Barnett has sent condolences to Guyana following a fire at a school that claimed the lives of at least 20 school children. The fire in Madia, near the center of Guyana early this morning, swept through a high school boarding school, killing at least 19 of the students and injuring several others. 14 of the children died at the scene and another 5 at a hospital. 6 others, including 2 in critical condition, were airlifted to the capital, Georgetown, while others remained under local hospital care. When firefighters arrived on the scene, the building was already engulfed in flames, according to Guyana's fire service. Firefighters managed to rescue 20 other students by breaking holes in the portion of the wall of the building. It is not known at this time what started the blaze. The executive of the National Trade Union Congress of Belize met with Prime Minister John Bersenio, Deputy Prime Minister Gordel Hyde, and Education Minister Francis Fonseca this afternoon in Belmopan. The NTUCB executive wrote to the Prime Minister for a 5th time, asking for a meeting. Among the key issues raised by the NTUCB are the prioritization of occupational safety and health, OSH, and the approval of International Labor Organization, ILO, Conventions 158 and 155. These conventions require the approval of the National Assembly to ensure the well-being and protection of workers in Belize. The NTUCB has been pressing the Prime Minister to rush the OSH. So today, after the 2-hour meeting, we asked NTUCB President if progress was made.
Will the PM rush the OSH?
So that's a very good question. We've received commitment because we were very blunt with him. We explained to the PM that the Minister of Labour is dragging his feet with OSH. And I've said that several times, and so we've got some commitment from the Prime Minister that between now and August we could see the lights of the OSH going back to the Labour Advisory Board and then to Cabinet and then to the National Assembly. So that's good news for us.
You got a verbal commitment, that's it?
Yeah, so that is how every work starts. As a matter of fact, as we speak, we've been pushing constantly at the Ministry of Labour through the Labour Advisory Board to ensure that what needs to be done to OSH, that it is happening. We just felt that it was important for the Prime Minister to be abreast of how serious we are about OSH and the work that we've been putting in. And so once we're able to explain our position to the Prime Minister, then we receive a level of commitment. Of course, to get the commitment going, it requires for us to continue to sustain that campaign.
I ask because there's some level of draft of the OSH bill with NTUCB and BCCI.
Yes, and the Ministry of Labour.
So what's the holdback? Is it the minister himself?
When you get an opportunity to speak to the minister, ask him.
The meeting came at the request of the NTUCB's executive, which initially asked for a meeting with the PM in November of 2020. That was 3 years ago. The executive subsequently made 4 additional requests. While the Prime Minister has met with the NTUCB's president and first vice president, it took the Bersenio administration 3 years to meet with the NTUCB executive. The NTUCB has since asked the PM to meet quarterly. President Luke Martinez says that the PM agreed to meet with the executive every 6 months.
We walk into the meeting with certain demands and we walk out with positive response and feedback. So, I mean, that's a trait of the National Trade Union Congress. When we walk into these meetings, it's to walk away with something that could be achieved tangibly.
It's been a long time since the NTUCB executive has been asking for this meeting, though.
Yeah, sure. We have been requesting a meeting for a while, and the time schedule was not allowing us to get around the same table.
The first request was 2020, though, what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, so between 2020 and now, I've met with the Prime Minister, me and our first Vice President, and several other executive members, but as a meeting with the Prime Minister and our executive board, this is the first meeting that we've had. Outside of that, we were still able to ensure that the National Trade Union Congress achieve what we needed to have achieved through the different ministries and so on. So we were just concerned that as one of the key stakeholders, we've noted that the PM has been meeting with several stakeholders, and we re-engaged and reminded him that, look, we're here, PM, let's do this.
Up next, the International Masters Tour de Santino races through Mountain Pine Ridge.
I'm most pleased to report that to the nation that we have been able to secure roughly $90 million for the construction of a new 150-bed modern national referral tertiary care hospital in Belize. Given the vulnerability of KHMH to hurricanes and floods, the strategic placement of this hospital in Babapan represents an important part of our climate resiliency building strategy in the provision of health care.
Tour guides, your renewal season is coming up. Please be advised that all tour guide license expires on July 31st, 2023. BTB will start accepting applications for renewal starting May 1st, 2023. Tour guides, we're asking you to apply early in order to have a new and valid license before the current one expires. To submit via email, you'll need a clear scan of each document in PDF format and properly named and labeled. Send your application with all supporting documents to tourguide@BelizeTourismBoard.org and include your full name and your tour guide license number in the subject line of the email. Remember to fill out your applications correctly, as BTB will no longer be accepting incomplete applications. Contact our licensing officers at 227-2420 and press 1 if you have any questions or concerns.
It's good to keep the environment clean. BSWAMA, step up the pace. They're going places to manage your waste. So make we stand and make well sure. No garbage left on the seashore. The whole of Belize we stay clean, cause we know say worth much more. We have pretty environment. So when you see the garbage on the ground, go after me and just bag it on.
Cleanliness has always been second nature to us, so let's work together to keep our surroundings beautiful and healthy.
No garbage in it.
Galenia Hospital, located in Cancun, Mexico's premier tourism destination, is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility that provides highly specialized medical services. We are Quintana Roo's biggest private hospital with board-certified doctors and staff. Some of our services include Cath Lab, Adult Intensive Care Unit, neonatal intensive care unit, emergency rooms, operating theaters, ambulance services, and more. We are a medically accredited hospital by JCI, Accreditation Canada International, and General Health Council, providing extraordinary care in every specialty, from our cardiology department to our neurology center. We are focused on treating the entire person, body, mind, and spirit. Contact us at medicaltourism@hospitalgalenia.com or visit our website at www.hospitalgalenia.com. Come to Galenia Hospital in Cancun for a truly personal medical care experience.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited postpaid plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Good night and welcome to another edition of Sports Monday. I am Paul Lopez. Winning isn't everything, but wanting to win is. That's a quote from Vincent Lombardi, an American football coach. Over the weekend, athletes competed across various disciplines to do just that, win. We kick off tonight's coverage with some cycling action. The International Masters Tour de Santino was held on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, 90 riders took on the grueling hills of Mountain Pine Ridge. Those hills had many top cyclists pushing beyond their limitations for 38 miles. Here's a quick recap. The starting whistle is blown and the 90 riders are off from the Busman Hill, just outside of Georgeville. SPD's Bob Gabriel and Mexican rider for Santino's Manuel Serrano are leading the race, heading towards the halfway point at the end of the paved road in Mountain Pine Ridge. The lead is shared between the two riders as they approach this hill. Serrano gets out of his saddle on the incline and creates a gap between himself and Gabriel. At the halfway point, Serrano maintains his lead with Gabriel on his tail. Serrano finished the race approximately 5 minutes ahead of Bob Gabriel and 6 minutes ahead of the third-place rider. Serrano's experience in hilly terrains was on full display, and Belizean Bob Gabriel rose to the challenge. On day 2, the second leg of the race began at Old Belize. The 50-mile race took cyclists to Democracia Village and back to Old Belize. Approaching mile 29, heading to the halfway point, it's day 1 second-place winner Bob Gabriel with an attack to the front of the race. He is chased by 3 other riders as they sprint for a station prize at mile 29 milepost. Heading back to Belize City at mile 27, it is Manuel Serrano and Bob Gabriel in front, maintaining an extended gap between the main peloton. Serrano and Gabriel still had their lead in Hatterville. By this time, it was determined. that these men would be the top 2 finishers of the day and the entire tour. Just under a mile left to the finish line, Serrano gets off his seat and sprints off ahead of fatigued Gabriel, all the way to the finish line.
I'm really happy to be coming here. This is my first time in Belize, and I really like the country. I really like the people. I mean, all the guys here in Belize received us like if we were family. So I didn't know what to expect when I was coming here for my first race. I have raced in Europe, in the US, in Mexico, in many places in South America. And I think here is the place where everyone, all the riders cheer you up, everyone gives you water. It doesn't matter if it's your rival or your friend.
Eventually he dropped an attack with me right up there by 6 miles, and I was already, fatigued. So I said I'm just going to hold on to the end and, appreciate the fact is that I came out here for the past 2 days and worked very hard. Not only for my team, but for the country of Belize, because to me it seemed like it was Mexico against Belize today.
In this race we had 48 foreigners and 42 Belizeans. And it turned out, as you can see, beautiful. Stage 1 was in the mountains. And in fact, many Guatemalans and Mexicans that had come here before say, we never know that we got any kind of hill way. And I take a lick there.
A total of 42 Belizeans and 48 foreigners rode the tour. Moving on now to some basketball action. The William Dawson Sprite Digi Youth Basketball Tournament 2023 continued on Saturday on the St. John's Primary School's basketball court. 7 games were played, and tonight we have highlights from the 4th matchup of the day between the skilled 501 Falcons and the energetic Mahogany Heights team. Number 1 for Falcon, Luani Cayetano drives into the paint, dishes out to his teammate Antoine Warner for the layup and the foul. On the other end of the court, Mahogany Heights, Maurice Neal with the fake dribble, goes up for the shot and draws the foul. In the second half, Cayetano with the drive from the arc sees an open Raymond Gongora at the paint, and it's an easy layup. Isaiah Martinez with the rebound passes on top to number 15 Jerson Greenwich, who has a wide opening. He dashes to Calvert Webster for the sweet layup. Raymond Gongora displayed dominance in the paint for the Falcons. Here he has the mismatch against Jamar Flowers. He spins and gets off his feet for the layup. Gongora spent a lot of time at the free throw line from fouls while going to the basket. Pass to Jamar Flowers, Jerson Greenwich. No look pass to Webster. He finds Greenwich, who puts up a mid-range shot and misses. The ball was turned over and Gongora once again capitalizing on the other end. That match ended 33 to 27 points in favor of 501 Falcons. And from basketball, we now take you to the football pitch at the Berger Field in Belize City. The Anthony Mahler U13 Mundialito continued on Saturday with 8 matchups. Here's the game between Tutbay Yabra and the Samson Academy boys. 5 minutes into the match, Tutbay's Cardinal Welsh intercepts the ball and fires to the goal. The goalkeeper blocks the shot. The ball hits the top post and Samir Gibbs is right there to clean up for the first goal of the match. Less than a minute later, Samson Academy's Ethan Lewis steps up and waits for the whistle. He launches a Hail Mary that surprisingly goes over the heads of a defender and the goalkeeper to tie the game at 1 apiece. What a spectacular shot. 2 minutes later, Asher Welsh with the ball on the right wing with a little shake and bake to clear the path. He beats a second defender in the penalty box and fires. Goalkeeper deflects the ball, but he's right there to gently tap it in for his team's second goal. That game finished 3-1 in favor of Tutbay Yabra. The third match of the day saw Royal Fusion Girls go up against Millennium Academy. 6 minutes into the match, number 6 for Millennium, Jocelyn Zuniga with the ball. She is defended by Zoisha Davis. Zuniga finds the opening and shoots. That is the first goal of the match. At the 7-minute mark, the young and skillful Amina Burgess gets the throw in, beats one defender. The goalkeeper looks to stop the ball, but Burgess keeps her composure as she ensures the ball goes in and hits the net. Amina Burgess scored a second goal at the 10th minute. Minutes later, number 9 Cleon Suazo ties the game with this lob that slipped right through the hands of the goalkeeper. That match ended at 2 apiece. And finally for tonight, we want to say best of luck to the Under-20 National Women's Volleyball team as they prepare to compete in the Women's Volleyball Continental Championship and Pan American Cup in Mexico. Belize's first game is on Tuesday night against Mexico. Well, folks, that's all we have for you in tonight's coverage of Sports Monday. Until next time, have a good night.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.